From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, I've got 2 Red Bluff Roundup tickets, and they could be yours. I'm doing a ticket giveaway here, and all you have to do to enter, just email me at mkrueger@weathernorcal.com, or just go to the website, weathernorcal.com. In the navigation menu at the very top, click Contact, and just fill out the information, and you will be good to go. Now, the winner will be announced next Wednesday, April 16th, live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30 in the morning. So be sure to check that out and enter to win right here on Weather NorCal. All right, mostly cloudy, but mainly dry for your Friday. We do have a drop in the temperatures Friday and Saturday, but we've got some chances for showers, maybe some thunderstorms in there for some of us. Things are a little interesting. Let's just put it that way. We're going to take a much closer look at that here in your deeper dive. But I do have that potential for gusty winds here coming out of the north as early as tomorrow, but I think the weekend, in particular Saturday into Sunday, could see some gusty winds there as well. And then dry and warm going into next week. All right, so let's take a look at Krueger's Quickcast, just what you can expect here going into the next 24 hours. So for tonight, temperatures dropping down in the low to mid-50s for the valley. It's overcast tonight, so that's going to keep those temperatures fairly mild, even for the higher elevations here. Temperatures for the coast will be somewhere in the mid to upper 40s. So out the door tomorrow morning, yeah, we're still looking at the mostly cloudy skies out there. And there may be a few showers here and there, but overall, it's fairly dry to start off the day for pretty much everyone. Now, what we've seen today is this system right here. It's been kind of breaking apart as the ridge of high pressure has been the dominant feature for us. But that ridge of high pressure is shifting eastward and allowing these disturbances to move in and giving us that chance for showers. So here you have tomorrow morning. See how it's mainly dry. There may be a sprinkle here and there, maybe in some of the foothills east of the valley. But overall, it's a dry start to the day for your Friday. Take you through the day Friday around midday. Still the mostly cloudy skies. There may be some thinning of the clouds by around midday, but then more clouds kind of coming in as we go into Friday night. And there you can see more clouds kind of coming in. And you see a couple of disturbances kind of pushing through parts of, say, Siskiyou County, even parts of Modoc County. And look at that, a couple of little green dots indicating maybe a sprinkle or two as we go into Friday night. But overall, Friday is going to be a fairly dry day. And take a look at the winds. Remember I was talking about those winds kind of picking up here. We take you into your Friday around 5, 6 p.m. Winds are picking up later in the day. So coming out of the north-northwest about 10, 15, even over 20 miles per hour. Stronger along the coast and some strong west winds coming off into the eastern mountains and parts of Modoc County as well. So for tomorrow, as mentioned, mostly cloudy skies. There will be some breaks in the clouds. You will see some sunshine. I don't expect much in the way of rain, so it will be a dry day. Temperatures in the upper 70s for the valley. So temperatures are dropping slightly because some slightly cooler air is moving in. I say slightly because it's not going to be a very big drop in those temperatures. And we're talking mainly 60s for the higher elevations and somewhere in the mid to even upper 50s for the coast. So your 7-day outlook, you kind of have to look closely to see what's going on here. Mostly cloudy, but mainly dry. And then over the weekend, you're talking sunny skies. It's warming back up Sunday to Monday, and we're keeping in the 80s most likely through a good portion, if not all of next week. Now for the coast, mostly cloudy, but mainly dry. Saturday, Sunday, into Monday, temperatures warming up a little bit here, more clouds, but staying dry as we go through next week. That's the same story for inland and also for Trinity County as you got those warmer temperatures early next week. Now, things get a little bit more interesting as you head into Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the eastern mountains. So for Siskiyou County, as we go into Friday night, there may be a passing shower for some of you, but otherwise Saturday, Sunday, you're dry. It's warming up as we go into early next week. For Alturas and Modoc County in general, looks like as we go into Friday night and into Saturday morning, there's going to be a disturbance passing through that could bring some rain, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm, but then by Saturday afternoon it's dry, and then it's dry Sunday, Monday through next week. For Susanville, for the eastern mountains, we may see, look at that, see that? As we go into Saturday afternoon, you'll see showers, but otherwise you should be dry before that, and then you're dry Sunday and warming up as we go through next week. So you can see, just look at the 7-day forecast, there's kind of a bit we have to talk and get through here, because it just depends on where you are. It will depend on who sees rain and who doesn't. But before we get into that deeper dive forecast, I do want to mention that there's a 24-hour streaming channel you always have access to, and it's on every single platform available with Weather NorCal. Whether it's weathernorcal.com, the free Weather NorCal app, anywhere YouTube is available, including your smart TV, Fire TV, Roku, the works. So check it out. You can watch the 24-hour streaming channel. And by the way, the YouTube app, no matter where you are, whether it's TV, your computer, or even your phone, you can on demand watch the latest video forecast too. So again, that's what I was talking about. This band of rain here has been kind of breaking apart through the day today because it's been bumping up against the ridge of high pressure that's been over us today. Now, looking at futurecasts, you're probably noticing a few more things in here. It's getting a little bit more busy, but I'm going to help explain what all this means. These lines right here are what we call the 500 millibar heights. This is kind of the general area where we look to see where some of the disturbances are, where the jet stream is. And then I've also got the upper level flow of those winds, right? And that's important to take note when we're looking at where these showers and even thunderstorms may develop here. All right, so let's take you into your Friday. So here's Friday morning about 9 a.m. So you see the winds are kind of blowing, coming from the southwest to the northeast. These are the upper level winds that we're looking at, the jet stream, right? You see a little bit of what we call these jet streaks that kind of get caught up within that flow. They're these little areas of, sometimes we call them disturbances. It's kind of that jet streak that kind of comes through that upper level flow. Now these jet streaks can create instability and create showers and even sometimes thunderstorms. So Friday morning for the most part we're dry, but again you got the overcast skies for most of us. Now we take you through the day on Friday. You see what's happening? So sometimes you get these little kinks in the jet stream. You see this right here? These are these little jet streaks right here, and these are areas of instability where it's known as upper level divergence. What that does is that divergence creates upward lift, and we see these showers and possible thunderstorms developing. And where you can see that, again, is where you see these little dips in the jet stream. See how they have these nice little flat lines, and then you see a little dip right here. That's where we're seeing that kind of coming on in here. So that's why at 4 p.m. or Friday afternoon, Friday evening, we may see some activity, especially in eastern parts of Siskiyou County and maybe even parts of Modoc County as well. That's Friday evening. Take a look at Friday night. Look what's happening. We've got another little jet streak right here that's actually in the north end of the valley near Redding. So Friday night, probably not out of the question for you to see a shower, maybe even a thunderstorm develop here as we go into the evening and overnight hours. Now, it gets a lot more intense as we go in the overnight and early morning hours into Saturday. So what we're seeing here is another one of those jet streaks I was talking about. See this right here, this dip right here? This right here is the area where we're seeing that upper level divergence, and also up to the north as well. So that is all going to move to the north and east midnight, Friday night into Saturday morning. It then moves into Modoc County. And primarily, it's Modoc County that's going to see the best chances for those thunderstorms to continue as we go into Saturday morning at 5 a.m. Everyone else, for the most part, is dry. Then what's going to happen is this energy is going to push down to the south, and eventually Plumas and Lassen counties could get in on that going into Saturday afternoon. So look at Saturday around midday. You see the clouds that are developing. We're also seeing some what we call afternoon convection, where you have the daytime heating, that heat rises, and you see those clouds developing, and eventually, you see what's going on? We're seeing those showers and possible thunderstorms developing as well. That's Saturday at 5 p.m. But again, you remember I was talking about those jet streaks. Now you see this little dip right here, and look at these winds. You see how they're doing this and then coming right around here? This is creating that instability for those showers to develop here to the east here. Now, once that moves out, going into Saturday night, it dries out entirely. And then Sunday will be completely dry as well. So what does that mean for overall rainfall estimates? Well, I got to tell you, these numbers are going to be pretty much way off. But what I do expect to see is, you can kind of see where we're seeing that. Again, see how it's kind of picking up where we saw that developing near the Redding area. So Redding may see some minor accumulation of rain as well as Bernie, because these systems will move through fairly quickly. They did look pretty intense, right? But they're going to move through fairly quickly, so it won't dump a lot of rainfall in one particular area. But you could pick up most likely a few hundredths to close to a tenth of an inch of rainfall, especially in parts like Modoc County, where we do expect to see that continue into the early Saturday morning hours, right? There's Saturday 5 a.m. Now as we go into Saturday afternoon, then you kind of see a push to the south, and now Susanville is getting caught up in that as well. But overall, I mean, these are not very impressive amounts of rainfall. So really, it's the Friday night, really that Friday night into early Saturday morning that we're going to have to watch right around here, where we could see some of those thunderstorms developing here in the overnight and early morning hours going into your Saturday morning. So Friday night, Saturday morning is kind of that time frame that we could see some of that potential. Drier than normal conditions though. I mean, here we are talking about that potential for rain, but overall, when we look at the long range, it's drier than normal, folks, and it's going to stay that way for quite a while. All right, so let's talk about the winds again, because the winds, they're going to be picking up here as we go into the weekend. Now, Friday, yeah, the afternoon, they're kind of picking up here. Now, look at Saturday. Saturday morning, a bit of that north wind coming for the valley and also for the coast. We go into Saturday around midday, still some pretty strong winds for the valley and for the coast, but not as bad everywhere else. Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, seeing some strong winds continuing in the valley, some strong winds in the eastern mountains, and also even along the coast here. And that will probably continue, those strong winds, into your Sunday as well. Now, temperature-wise, we are going to see that dip in the temperatures. So this right here, remember I was talking about those jet streaks and the upper-level wind pattern here? That's this right here. So this is what's creating that instability for Friday night and into Saturday morning. You see, this is 5 p.m. Right here, when you have a trough of low pressure like this, usually it's right about here that you see the most amount of instability. And that's why we're seeing that potential for some of those showers and even thunderstorms coming in Friday night and into Saturday. But through the day on Saturday, that cooler air continues to shift to the east and will be out of here by Sunday. Now, we have high pressure trying to build in here through next week, and it's going to be fairly successful. But what's going to kind of hinder that ridge of high pressure is this right here. This area of low pressure is kind of undercutting that ridge, but overall the trend is for a ridge of high pressure and warmer air associated with that, and that is going to keep our temperatures above normal for the next 10 days plus. In fact, taking a look at that 10-day trend for Redding, the normal high is about 70. We will be well above that as we go into the next 10 days, 70s and even well into the 80s as we go into parts of next week. All right, your wave heights, unfortunately, they do look to be increasing through the day on Friday, and that'll be the case again on Saturday as well. So what that means is most likely we'll be looking at more small craft advisories at the very least for both Friday and Saturday. Temperature-wise for tonight, we're dropping down into the mid to upper 50s. It's going to be mild even for the mountains. As I mentioned, those overcast skies keeping those temperatures from really getting too terribly cold. So your Trinity County neighborhood forecast, you've got those temperatures in the 60s and 70s for your daytime highs. We take you out to the north coast, central and southern Humboldt County. Temperatures mainly in the 50s and 60s there. We take you up north with 61 for Smith River, Gas Key about 63, as well as Orleans and Hoopa, Willow Creek about 65 degrees for your Friday. And your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, temperatures in the low to mid 60s for the most part for your daytime highs. In Modoc County, generally in the mid 60s, give or take, 66 in Canby, 68 degrees for Alturas, and Eagleville and Ayden, a high of about 65 degrees. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, you've got those temperatures in the 60s, even some 70s in the forecast here. There you can see about 68 degrees for Chester, 71 for Paradise. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we expect for the valley. Starting off to the south, temperatures dropping slightly. Not quite the 80-degree mark. Some of us may touch 80, but there's that slight drop I was talking about here, but nothing major, right? Looking at that 7-day forecast, we keep it in the upper 70s for Saturday, but by Sunday, we're back in the 80s, and we keep it that way through next week. Overnight lows also fairly mild in the low to mid 50s. Also looking at plenty of sunshine as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look now at your forecast for the valley to the north. You can see those temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, 77 degrees for Redding, all the way down to Cottonwood and Red Bluff, 77 degrees for Palo Cedro, and looks like a Lakehead, a high of about 73 degrees. There's your 7-day forecast for Redding. Temperature is still in the upper 70s for your Friday, Saturday, back in the 80s by Sunday, and we keep it in the 80s most likely through all of next week. That's your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Have yourselves a great night.
Caltrans is doing the best that they can with the amount of people and the amount of equipment they have, and they're out there trying to keep the roads safe and trying to keep everybody running, because if the roads shut down, truck drivers that are paid by the miles aren't making any money. So we want everybody to put chains on for the safety of themselves and the safety of the public. It's not worth it to drive without chains.